So you
Okay,
should have
we're
got a little notification that said, "A recording in progress."
yes, we're being recorded right now.
We are now being recorded. Everything you say or do shall be held against you. Jerry Clifton, welcome back to Behind the Bib. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with me.
Oh my gosh, there's nobody I would want to spend it any more than with you, Lisa, and the Behind the Bib folks. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Thank you very much.
Well, I can think of a lot of people you could probably spend better time with, but I'm very thankful for you to spend your time with me. I really
Thank
am.
you.
Yeah, so I met you through I think our mutual friends, Jeff and Jerry Plain, who did the Huntsville pub run. And when I started Behind the Bib last year, they were like, you know who you have to talk to is Jerry Clifton and the Rainsville Freedom Run. And I have to say, hands down, that has been one of, if I had a top 10 list of interviews that I have done over 2025, yours ranks number one in terms of it was just the most fun. You have, I think, one of the biggest personalities and the biggest hearts and the biggest, like, I just had a good old time. I wish we were sitting together side by side at some, overlook restaurant and just chatting. Maybe we can do that in the future. But it was so much fun meeting you and learning about the Rainsville Freedom Run, such that I have I don't know. We've been talking about this crazies thing, and I wanted to find out more about it. And then the more people I talk to, they're like, Lisa, you got to do it. And so I thought, well, Jerry, let's talk about it a little bit. What's this thing called before we get into the crazies trifecta? First, not everybody knows you. Let's introduce you and tell folks how you got into running and maybe throw in that run streak too.
Well, um, I probably have been running, I'm going to say somewhere, I've always been active,
Uh-huh.
but I would say I've probably been running for probably close to 25 years. And one day I was taking a Pilates class at a friend's gym here in Rainsville called Body Vision.
Uh-huh.
And it was actually on a Thursday. I never will forget these. Some things, I
Uh-huh.
just don't always, I just never forget. So it was on a Thursday evening. We'd done the Pilates. I was rolling up my mat, and there was a couple of girls that were talking, friends of mine, and they were saying, "Yeah, let's run Saturday morning." And so as I was just walking by them, I said, "That's just one thing I've never done is run." And so they immediately said, "You got to come run with us." I said, "Oh, there's no way. There's no way I could run because I would die." And they said, "No, no, you won't die." And so they kept on. So that Saturday morning, I met them at Body Vision,
Uh-huh.
and they said, "We're going to do 3 miles." I said, "Well, let's just go ahead and call 911 and tell them where you think I'm going to be because, I'm going to be out there somewhere." And they said, "No, you're going to do great. When you feel like you need to stop and walk, we'll stop. No
Uh-huh.
big deal."
Mhm.
So we did the 3 miles. Of course, I had to stop, several times along the way. And I don't know what it was, but after that 3 miles, I just thought to myself, "Holy cow, I have got to just keep this going."
Uh-huh.
So that weekend, actually on Sunday, the next day, I was leaving and going to Nashville. I was going to go to Nashville and stay a few days, and I
Mhm.
was staying at the Opryland Hotel.
Oh,
So
nice.
when I got there, I just thought, okay, I'm just going to start running around the hotel. And so I would run from the hotel up to Opry Mills. And then the next day, I was up there for about a week. And so the next day, I went inside the Opera Mills Mall, and there's a lot of folks in the morning time, real
Uh-huh.
early. They would
Mhm.
walk this, the whole round of the mall.
Yeah, mall
And so
walkers.
I started to do that. And so I ran up there for the entire week while I was there, and I've just been running ever since. And so then my first half marathon that I did was actually the rock and roll half marathon in Nashville.
Oh, cool. I've always wanted to do that one.
And then my first marathon was the Mercedes
Mm.
marathon in Birmingham.
Mhm.
And so then in April of April 26th of 2020, I
Okay.
had gotten my Runner's World magazine, and there was an article in there on run streaks. And it just talked about running for 30 days or maybe try to run for 60 days. Just and
Mhm.
so I started doing some research on it and saw a lot of really positive things that that you could do with by starting a run streak.
Uh-huh.
So I told Pam Willingham, who's my neighbor,
Mhm.
and she's my partner in crime as far as running and on the board of the Freedom Run. I
Mhm.
told her, I said, let's run for 30 days in a row without stopping, just to see what happens. She said,
Uh-huh.
oh God, of course, she was just like, so we did it 30 days. Well, the next day, after that 30th day, the next day was a day that we typically would have run anyway. And I said, well, we might as well just go ahead and run because we would have normally ran this day. And she said,
Uh-huh.
I knew that's what would happen. She said, I knew it wouldn't be 30 days. And she said, all right, I'll run. I know how you're going to be. I'll run 100 days. I said,
Mhm.
okay. If she said, if we cannot fall apart in 100 days, I'll run 100. So we did the 100. Then the next thing you know, we did 200. And when we got to 200, she said, okay, I knew this would what would happen. I will try to do a year with you. And after that, I'm done. Don't ask me no more. I'll quit running with you. I will not even
I'm
run
done
with
for
you.
good.
Yeah. So we did the year. And I remember we ran from Rainsville to Fort Payne. And there was a friend of ours, Lynn Brewer, has a restaurant down there called 1889.
Mm.
She had a party for us, and the newspapers were there, and they had balloons and all this kind of stuff because of the
Uh-huh.
fact we'd ran, a full year. And
Wow.
so now, today was 2,095 days that we have ran, which is over 5 years. April of this year
Uh-huh.
was 5 years in a row that we had ran without missing.
Without
So,
missing. Wow.
yeah. So,
How do you when I assume you travel or so you don't run every day together, but most days y'all actually run together, right?
yeah, most days we run together. Now, Pam's work sometimes she'll be
Uh,
gone, or she'll have to go in like really early.
yeah.
But most of the time we run together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't beat those running buddies, man. Once you find your good running buddy, it's like it's just one of the best relationships. It's the best one of the best connections. It has enriched my life so much to find my people. You once you find
Hmm.
your people, because you spend a lot of time with them,
Right. Right.
right? So, do you have a favorite story of your and Pam's adventures out there? I know you
Uh
told one about the Kentucky Derby. I'm sure you got about a million.
oh gosh, I've got so many. Let me think. Well, probably, a lot of people ask me, what is one of our most fun runs that we've ever done?
Uh-huh.
And that was probably the Big Sur Marathon.
Oh, wow.
And Pound's birthday is it's April the 24th, I think. I believe I'm right on that. Um, but
Pam, if you're listening,
anyway, so
sorry.
it just so happened that the year we decided we was she because Pam said, I want to run a marathon on my birthday. I said,
Okay.
okay, that sounds good. So we started looking, and I told her, I said, I know the perfect one for us to go do. Let's do Big Sur. It's the number one most beautiful marathon in the world, and the
Hmm.
17th most difficult at that time. That's how we're
Uh-huh.
ranked.
Yeah.
So we registered, and then we had let's see, we had three other friends that registered with us.
Hmm.
And so we did all this training together. I mean, we did some of the craziest training. I mean, it was incredible getting ready for this thing. So we fly to California, and what we did was at that time, Runner's World was actually a sponsor of
Oh,
of Big Sur.
okay. Yeah.
So we registered in their VIP, which is, as I tell people, that's the only way to run Big Sur is to register as a VIP. Now, there's
Okay.
only 300 spots, but you have to register as a VIP.
Okay.
Because if you just register as a normal person,
Hmm.
then they're gonna start trucking you out to Big Sur at 2 o'clock in the morning, and
Oh,
they're gonna
good
put
grief.
you out at a park, and you're gonna lay on the ground for
Oh,
five
wow.
hours till it gets time for them to start the race.
Oh my gosh.
If you register as a VIP, they're going to carry you on a private coach
Hmm.
bus,
Yeah.
and they'll start carrying you out there like at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll have a heated tent with your own private porta johns and food, drink, all that kind of stuff for you to have.
Really?
And so you can stay in a heated tent,
Oh,
just taking it
wow.
easy up until the time they call to start the race. I mean, it
Wow.
and literally, and from where the tent's at and the start of the race is
Yeah.
probably like 50 yards. I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
like,
You're right at the start line.
I mean, you're right at the start line.
Wow.
So um, that was the most fun. And of course, Pam had T-shirts made
Oh, well,
about
okay.
the fact that it was her birthday and
Uh-huh.
she was running a marathon on her
Uh-huh.
birthday.
Uh-huh.
And of course, do you know anything about Big Sur, about the run?
Not the run. I've been out to Big Sur. Been to Big Sur itself in
Okay.
California. So the run, is it a point to point since they
Yes.
they
Yeah.
bus you?
Yeah. They
That
bus
would
you to
make
Big
sense.
Sur, and then you run the Pacific Coast Highway back to
Okay.
Carmel. That's
Oh,
where it ends.
yeah, I'm familiar with Carmel.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be beautiful through those bridges and the overlooks. And
Right.
I
Right.
mean, that's just a stunning highway.
Well, when you run across the Bixby Bridge, which
Hmm.
is the largest suspension bridge, I think, maybe in the world. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's a
Wow.
big, beautiful bridge. Once you run across that bridge, they have a guy there who has been playing this grand piano. It's a grand piano right across
Wow.
the edge of the bridge, and he's been performing there for, like, I think maybe at that time he's probably been doing it now probably 20 years. The same
Wow.
guy, and he's dressed in tux with tails. He's playing the piano and all that. They've
Uh-huh.
got the television stations lined up, they're there. And so when I had already planned to have this guy play and sing happy birthday to Pam when we got there.
Are you
So when we
kidding?
get across the bridge, and of course, now here's the thing about Big Sur, there is a time limit that you have to
Mm-mm.
hit at mile 16. You've got to be
Okay.
at a certain time. And if you're not
Hmm.
there, they're going to
Hmm.
put you on a school bus and
Yeah.
carry you back to the finish line.
Yeah. Kind
So
of
we
like
were
Marine Corps does that. Yeah.
right. So
You have to
we
make your
were
bridge.
really right. We were really being pushed to make sure we hit that time limit.
Yeah.
But when the bridge is like, it's 13.1 miles, so we were halfway. So we knew when we got to the bridge, we were pretty much home free, unless
Okay. You're
we
good.
blew a knee out or something. We knew we was going to make it.
Yeah.
So when we get there, and then the guy's playing the piano, and of course the television people there, So I go up to the guy playing the piano, and I said, "Hey, this is Pam's birthday, and I'd like for you to play and sing happy birthday to her."
Uh-huh.
So he did. He played happy birthday. Everybody was singing happy birthday to Pam. Of course, she was eating all that up, and all this stuff. So when you get to mile 23, they have these sliced fresh strawberries. And, they
Oh.
grow the strawberries in California. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is literally like eating sugar. I mean, that's
Oh,
how sweet these
wow.
strawberries are. And of
Oh,
course, at mile
yum.
23, you're wondering if you're ever gonna live or die.
True
And
statement.
I remember that we was just eating these strawberries just out of our hands. And so they was like this little service station, like with two gas pumps literally across the street. And all these people had their lawn chairs set up. And so Pam and I, we're sitting there or standing there eating these strawberries. And and those people started hollering and saying, "Hey, hey," pointing at Pam, "we just saw you on the news a while ago. Happy birthday, happy birthday." It was hilarious. So um, that
I need
was,
You need to track that down for me. Can you track down the news footage? I would love to put that. Use the
oh gosh, yeah, that
yeah,
would be nice if we
a
could do that.
picture or something. I'm gonna what we'll talk after.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
that. Yeah, we're gonna do something with that. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that is so awesome.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the most fun. Now another funny one was we did the St. George half marathon in Utah. Now that is a really great half marathon to do. It's one of the top halves in the country.
St. George, is it road or trail being in
It's it's
Utah?
it's uh it's road.
Road, okay.
So we had a hotel which was like literally across the street from the convention center where they loaded the buses because they carried you out
Hmm.
to where they unloaded you.
Hmm.
And so we've been, as any time that you're going to go out of state to run a marathon or a half, you're going to be checking the weather, knowing what you're going to need to carry, clothes wise and stuff like that. Well, we was looking, it was like the temperature was like in the 60s, and I said, "Oh
Oh,
my God, this is just incredible." I
yeah,
mean, and no
perfect.
rain, sunshine in the
Beautiful.
60s. So Pam and I that morning, the buses started loading like at 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
and to carry us out to where we was going. So Pam and I, we go out in our shorts and our short sleeve shirts, and we're walking across the street, and it's probably at that time it was about 60 something degrees. And so
Okay.
we get out there and we get on one of the buses, and we're sitting there, well, here comes these people in with hoodies on and sweatpants on and all this kind of crap. And Pam and I are looking at one another, and I'm saying, man, I'm telling you, if these people right here, of course, you don't know who this could have been their first half they've ever run. They don't know. And
Yeah, you
Pam and
don't
I
know
are
what you
looking,
don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I
right. You
get it.
don't know what you don't know. And so Pam and I are looking at one another. I said, they're fixing to burn their butts up,
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
time they, with all these
They're a
hoodies and
heat stroke.
sweatpants on. So anyway, so we get, we here they go. They tear us out. We're taking the bus out there. And so when they got us to this place where we was going, the one thing that I had forgotten about was that this is a half marathon that's all downhill. The
There,
whole elevation drops the entire way you run it. So
okay.
what that meant was they carried us out on top of a mountain.
Yeah,
And
you
when
fixing to
they
go up a mountain.
right, and so when they opened those doors and that wind started blowing through, I mean, it was like I think it was like in the 30s out there.
Oh, wow.
And we was on a dirt road, and it was like an hour and a half or so before the race started.
Oh,
And we about froze our butts off out there. I
oh
mean,
my
they had barrels with wood in it that they had on fire, and of
God.
course they had these uh, generators with big
Hmm.
lights, because it was dark, and
Yeah.
we was out in the middle of nowhere,
Oh,
and so they had these lights. So Pam and I, we would go and stand in front of those generators where that exhaust was blowing out heat, hot air, from the generator. And I told her, I said, "My God, we're going to die of carbon monoxide. I'm
just trying to stay warm.
trying to stay warm."
Oh my Lord, Jerry. God, I have no doubt that y'all have just had time after time after time. That is
Oh,
like so super cool. So, well, if I not if my goal is to do these crazies, and we're gonna get there here in just a second. If if she's is Pam the one? Is she in charge of the snack wagon? Is that what who Pam is?
no, now, Laura Lewis,
Laura. It's Laura that's in charge
yeah,
of the snack wagon.
Laura, she is a bank vice president. She's
Uh-huh.
also on our board.
Uh-huh.
And so she does the snack wagon. So
Okay.
it's Laura Snack Wagon.
Laura Snack.
And how the trifecta came about was one year again, I'm looking for races.
Uh-huh.
And so I see this um, race called the Bear Lake Trifecta.
Okay.
And it's in a place between, I think it's Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. And it's where
Okay.
all three states are kind of cornered in.
Mm-hmm.
And this big lake called Bear Lake basically goes into all three of the states. So you can go and run um, three half marathons in 3 days up there because
Okay.
one each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
So you can get three states in a weekend.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So I was telling Pam, I said, that's something that we could do and go and knock out three states, something. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, well, why don't we just do that here um, in DeKalb County?
Uh-huh.
Let's do a Crazies a trifecta, and we'll do three different towns in DeKalb County on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the money that we raise through the trifecta, we'll give to the Freedom Run, and that's just more money we'll have to give away to charity. I said, "Oh my God, I love that idea." So that's how we started it. And I think
That was Pam's idea. The trifecta
yeah,
was Pam's idea.
as on the first Crazies Trifecta shirt we did, on the back it has hashtag Pam's idea.
Oh my God. Y'all are
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah.
Hashtag Pam's
Well, I mean,
idea.
she has to take credit, for basically anything positive, especially if there's a screw up, it's always going to be me. If anything positive, she's going to do it. She'll take the credit. So, so what um, we did that first year. We did the first day in Mentone,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second day. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I'd have to go back and look at the pictures where the second day was at. But the third day, in order to be what we would call to be part of Jerry's Crazies, you
Okay.
have to run from Rainsville down the mountain to Walmart and back up.
Oh my God. I'm so nervous.
So that is always the third day. That's the Sunday run. You go off, you leave Rainsville. I mean, that's really the only route that anybody actually knows.
Okay.
We'll leave body vision, and we'll
Okay.
run down 35 to Walmart, and then we'll turn around and come back.
Oh my God.
And that's on day three.
Okay.
So anyway, and we don't tell anyone what the routes are. We don't tell them until the week of the race. We'll email everyone the week of the race and say, okay, Friday you'll meet here at such and such place.
Okay. So it's not the day of. I was thinking it was the day of that you get the route, but the week of the race,
Yeah,
you'll
we've
know.
got to give yeah, because we have so many people come from out of town. We got to
Okay.
let, we got to let people plan just a little bit.
Okay. I got you.
So
That's
anyway,
good.
so, but they don't know what the route is. We don't tell them the route, till that morning of where they're running. And basically, you just run till you find Laura and the snack wagon. And when you find Laura and the snack wagon, then you can have some snacks, something to drink, and then you turn around and come back the way you came.
Okay. And do these routes have a lot of turns in them? Is it a lot of like is it easy to not get lost for the directionally challenged?
Um, well, we did have, I'm not going to say who it was.
Okay. Not gonna call them out.
I'm not going to call them out, but she is from the Huntsville area. Okay. And I
Okay.
think it was a couple of years ago. And this was the crazy thing. I mean,
Huh.
this was the Sunday run.
Oh.
And I mean, basically, it's down and back. I mean, we leave Body Vision and you go about maybe 50 yards for the red light and turn right to go down
Mhm.
35. And then when you come back to Rainsville's only red light, Rainsville only has one red light. And you
Uh-huh.
just turn at that red light and come right back out to Body Vision. I mean, another 50 yards at the most.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so this one particular one who will remain nameless,
Uh-oh.
um, she had not shown up. And so we waited and we'd given everybody else all their stuff and we're
Mhm.
wondering where in the world she's at. And so I'm thinking, something has happened.
Uh-oh.
So we've not heard any ambulances or police sirens. So we felt like everybody was
Mhm.
still safe. Of
Okay.
course, again, we're on Highway 35. I mean, it's very
Yeah. It's a yeah.
so so I leave and I'm thinking, okay, maybe she forgot that Rainsville only has one red light. So I turn left at the red light and I go probably about, I don't know, 16th of a mile, and here she is walking back up the sidewalk. She had missed the red light and ran on through the intersection and just kept on going.
And just oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
just missed the only red light. Well, I can see, you're on your third half marathon in 3 days, and maybe you've gone to church in your head or something like that. And I don't know, I don't know. But okay. I can see it happening.
but anyway, when we started it, we said, okay, this is going to be no frills.
Okay.
So we don't give door prizes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have water stations.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a timed event. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically it's basically in a way a training run for yourself. In other words,
Mm-hmm.
you can run at whatever pace you want to run at. If you want to walk or whatever. Like the first 2 years we actually had three retired military uh, folks who actually rut packed
Oh,
the
cool.
race.
Cool.
And the first year they did dog and cat food, and they donated that to the animal shelter.
Oh,
And
neato.
then the next year they did like, you know, perishable food items for, And so I said, hey, well, let's just go ahead and use this as a food drive. So
Uh-huh.
we put up different places for people to donate food. And when that thing was over, we had two pickup truck loads of food
Wow.
that we had collected from different places. And so the three guys, they
Wow.
donated one truckload to a food pantry in Fort Payne, and then
Mm-hmm.
they donated one in Rainsville.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible. That's a
yeah,
lot of food.
yeah. Now, and not remember, now this is also rain, sleet, or snow,
Mm-hmm.
shine, whatever. We run no matter what the weather is.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one year, I think it might have been about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We ran the Friday run. They were given snow for that night,
Oof.
and so it did snow, and there was ice.
Oof.
And that was the morning that we was actually meeting in Fife at their town hall,
Okay.
and which is a little town down below Rainsville.
Mm-hmm.
And so we met there, and I remember Jeff, him.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Plain.
Yeah, I remember he either called me or text me and just said, "Hey, Jerry, we're too scared to try to make it." And I
Mm-hmm.
just told him, I said, "Well, y'all just do your run over there somewhere, and
Uh-huh.
we'll still count it. But ever who shows up
Yeah.
here, we're going." So I think there was about I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 of them that showed up.
Wow.
And
Even that many.
so this was we basically ran about a mile and then we made a left turn. And that morning the wind was blowing. I think it was maybe like about a 5-degree wind chill. It was
Oh.
snowing. I mean, it was like crazy. Laura, where,
Literally.
where Laura, where she lived, she was afraid to get out on the roads because she was
Yeah.
just she called me and she said, I just can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
They won't be a snack wagon today because I'm afraid to get out on the road. I said, that's
Yeah.
okay. Don't worry about it. So we always do a red X on the street. That's where Laura's at. That's where you turn around at is the
Yeah.
red
Big,
X.
big
Yeah,
red
big red
X.
X.
Okay.
So, I told everybody, the ones that was there, I said, okay, here's what we're doing. Go up through here, hang a left, just keep running till you find a red X, turn
Mm-hmm.
around and come back. Laura's not going to be there. You're just going to have to tough it out. I said,
Uh-huh.
okay. And so
Yes,
I
sir.
remember that Pam and I, we were running and
Uh-huh.
we were running down through there. And about probably, I'm going to say probably 3 miles or 4 miles before we got to the red X, Pam started saying to me, let's turn around. Let's turn around. I'm dying. I'm dying. Let's turn around. I
That's
said, no,
cold.
no, we're going to the red X. We're going to the red X. And what was so funny, the way the wind was blowing at that time, I had on a boggin and it had literally just snowed all the way down and it caked on the side of my boggin in my face because the snow and the wind was blowing in that direction where the
Oh my
right side of
gosh.
my boggin and face. I mean, just had all the snow packed on. It was pretty hilarious. But anyway,
Oh
I
my
never
gosh.
will forget when we got to the red X and we turned around, probably no more than 200 yards going back, I was saying to Pam, gosh, I wish I'd have listened to you and us headed around before we got to this red X. Because Pam kept saying, nobody's going to know.
Nobody will know. We will know, Pam.
And
We
she,
will
and,
know.
and she said, we're the organizers of this thing. We can do what we want. And I said, no, we're going to the red X.
We're going to the Red X, Pam. Oh my gosh, dear.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
in the like overall, the Crazies Trifecta is three, I'm not going to call them races because it's three runs, it's three half marathons over 3 days in DeKalb County, either in kind of Mentone, Fort Payne, Rainsville type areas, right? You get the starting location for the first run the week of the race, and then you get there. You just don't know the route, but you
Right.
get there, you get the route.
Yeah.
On the and the third day is always running from the the body vision you called it from the
Right.
gym down
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
Fort Payne and Walmart, or down
Right.
to the Walmart in Fort Payne, and then you run back up.
Right.
That's the third day. It's always that way, that route. And then the second day, you get a location to go meet at on the second morning, or
We'll
how do you
give
do
you
that?
the locations all on that first week.
Okay, gotcha.
The week of the we'll give you the location for all three
Okay,
places. You just
okay.
won't know the routes.
The route. Okay,
And you won't
gotcha.
know and you won't know the distance.
Because
Because
it's
one time we got to the where we was at, when they got to the finish line, they was some kept on running. And I was saying, hey,
we're
where are they
done.
going? And one of them said to me, or somebody had already finished, said, well, you was about a tenth short on 13.1. You was about a tenth short.
Okay.
And so they're just going to get that extra tenth. And I
Uh-huh.
just said, okay, I won't let that happen again.
Oh.
So, so as an example, this year on day two, um, I never will. I thought Jeff Plain. I honestly, I love Jeff and Jerry. They're tremendous supporters of ours. But I
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe that if Jeff could have probably have done bodily harm to me or killed me on that second day, I think he probably would have, because I know that I have been hurt this year. I've had more nagging injuries. So I've
Oh
just
yeah.
not been able to run a lot of long distances.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I wasn't able to run the trifecta.
Oh,
And so but I'd still get I'd still run.
your streak in.
Yeah, I'd still get the streak going. But when I was at this one place where there was a turn, and when the folks was coming back, some of the early ones that was in the front came back.
Uh-huh.
They hollered at me and they said, "This is going to be over 14 miles by the time we get back."
Oh, oh, that one
And
person that had to get the
and
point one.
I just said, well, you know what? I thought I mapped that right on my car when I tracked that out.
Oh my God, Jerry. Yeah, I've heard that it's half marathon-ish.
Yes, it's ish. Ish. That's the key word. Half marathon ish.
There you go. Half
Ish.
marathon-ish. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So you get the starting locations, each of the three starting locations the week of the race. You don't know the route. You know the route on the third day is always the same. You run down the mountain to Walmart and back up the mountain. That's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. The first two, you don't know. You just know that it's going to be half marathon-ish.
Ish.
Now, ish. Let's talk about this thing that I've been seeing you discuss on social media. I don't know what you can tell me, but there's a thing called the twist going on for 2026.
Right.
Can you tell us anything about the twist? What it's going to entail? I'm scared enough as it is. What can you give us? Can you give us anything?
I really can't give you anything because if I did, then it wouldn't be a twist.
I had to ask, Jerry.
But I will say this, they
Okay.
are actually two twists, not one, but two. There's going to be two twists. Something is going to happen. Well, actually, two things are going to happen that have never happened before on the Crazies Trifecta.
Okay.
Two things that's
Okay.
never happened before that will
Okay.
happen this year, this coming year.
Okay.
So we
Uh,
actually there's two twists. So in a sense, Lisa, you miss behind the bib have breaking news. There is not one
one,
twist, but
but two.
there's two twists. There
There's
are
going to
two
be,
twists.
I can't wait, Jerry.
Yeah,
I
me either. Me either. Because one, because both twists are still very fluid on exactly what they're going to be.
Well, I have said that 2026 is going to be my year of scary things. And so I'm going to try to do there's actually several scary things that I'm going to try to do that I'm going to the crazies is among said scary things. And then there's a couple others that are in the I guess planning stages right now. So I am looking forward to doing scary things in the future. So obviously serious elevation in these runs because if you're running down from Rainsville to Fort Payne, there's some serious elevation on the way back. The whole area is very there's just a lot of elevation over there. There's a lot of hills. So if you're
Yeah, and
training,
I will say this again. There's more than one way to run from Fort Payne to Rainsville or Rainsville to Fort Payne. There's more than one way to run that.
okay,
Just something to think about.
well,
And also
interesting.
the other two routes have not been set yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know pretty much what I think we're going to do, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure. But I will say this, I think that our first day could be the most difficult of any of the runs that we've ever done before. It could be.
Oh, okay. That's great. Fantastic, Jerry.
I have a friend of mine who owns this company. I'm not going to call any names.
Okay.
But anyway, I was talking to him one day. I had actually spoke to his management people. He had asked me to come down and speak to his management people. He
Okay.
does a thing once a month, and so he had asked me to come down and speak to his management people. So anyway, during the course of all the discussion that he and I had about this, um, I had suggested to him that he take some of his people. And I said, even if they walk it, it will
Hmm.
teach mental toughness. That's what
Hmm.
part of what the trifecta does.
Yeah.
And so he told me that he was going to do that.
Okay.
So, but I mean, but it will. It helps build mental toughness. So I mean, so that's the positive way to look at it. I mean, just think
Very,
about it. After
absolutely.
you're through with these three, I mean, it teaches you mental toughness.
Hmm.
So whatever else you got planned for the rest of the year,
Hmm.
you, Lisa, behind the bib superstar, I mean, you've already been prepared with mental toughness from doing the crazy strife.
It will set you up for the rest of the year. That's what I'm hearing. So how do people, so say that folks want to get crazy this spring, how do folks get registered for said crazy? Because registration opens soon, right? And do you have a cutoff?
Um, Boy, these are great questions. I love the way you ask these questions. So registration opens on January 1st.
January 1st. All right.
January 1st for the Crazies Trifecta and the Rainsville Freedom Run. Now,
Ah.
here's the thing. The Rainsville Freedom Run, the first 15 days is $15. So
Oh.
you can register for the Freedom Run
Mm-hmm.
in the first 15 days for $15. But if you're going to do the trifecta,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to register for the trifecta will automatically put you in the Freedom Run. So if you register for the trifecta, don't register for the Freedom Run
Okay.
because we will automatically give you registration for the Freedom Run by being a part of the Crazies Trifecta.
Okay. All
And
right.
both of
That's good
those
to know.
open on January the 1st.
January
The
1st.
the the trifecta cutoff is probably going to be somewhere around, I'm going to think, probably February the 20th or 21st, somewhere in that neighborhood, just
Okay.
simply because of the fact that we got to get the shirts ordered because
Mm-hmm.
we don't order any more than who actually is registered. That
Okay.
just helps us on cost, helps
Yeah,
us
of
be able to
course.
give away more money.
Yeah, of course, of course. And it's always the first weekend in March?
Yes, March
Okay.
6th, March 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay. Of
And each
26.
day we start at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll meet at 7:30. Um, and then we always do a group picture
Mm-hmm.
at 7:45. And then we start the run at 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get finished, if you're visiting from out of town and you want to hang out in DeKalb County and look and see what's going on, or
Mm-hmm.
you want to go on back home and then come back the next day, you can.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, in other words, you don't have to wait on everybody because, you might finish and, ever depending on how fast you are, you might
Mm-hmm.
finish and whatever, and somebody else who might be walking it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Okay. This is accessible, it sounds like. If you want a challenge, and like you just said, you want to, venture into the land of building mental toughness for the rest of 2026, because I do have some big kind of scary goals for 2026, and I think that this is definitely one of them. So I've heard so much about it and so many people telling me that, you've got to do it. You haven't done all the things until you've done the crazies,
you
right?
gotta do the crazies.
You
Let
got
me
to
let
do
me
the
tell you
crazies.
one more funny story about the crazy. So
Oh,
a
okay.
few years ago, like the week of the race. I
Mm.
will not call any names,
Uh-oh.
but
Uh-oh.
this person contacted me and said, "Hey, when does registration close for the trifecta?" And I said, "Well, it's actually already closed. Why are you asking?" And he
Yeah.
said, "Well, my wife and a couple of her friends would like to do it." Well,
Uh-huh.
I said, "Look, I'm not going to turn any money down. They
Uh-huh.
might have to wait a few days to get their shirt,
Mm-hmm.
but you know,
Okay.
if they want in, we'll get them in." And he
Yeah.
said, "Okay." So they registered. So as the week progressed, I was thinking about them, and they don't live anywhere around in the Rainsville area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to thinking, I didn't even know they were runners. And so I was thinking, well, they're probably running in their own communities because guess what most people do.
Yeah.
And so that morning, the first morning, that Friday morning when we was to meet, Pam and I, we most of the time we ride out there together. And
Mm-hmm.
so we pulled up, and I was talking to her about these three girls. I
Mm-hmm.
said, I've just never seen them run. And so we
Mm-hmm.
pulled up, and so there they were, three of them standing there in the parking lot where we was meeting. And as soon as we saw them, I said, they have no idea what they're fixing to get into, because it was like they was dressed to go to the mall.
Oh my
Makeup
gosh.
on, their hair fixed. I mean, they was ready to go. I mean, it was like they was going anywhere but other than to run a half marathon.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's
So
okay.
so anyway, so we have our meeting, we give everybody their shirt, and we take everybody's, get their name, and then that first morning we will ask you if you want to do the 10K or the 5K of the Freedom Run. So then that way, when Pound registers you into the Freedom Run, we'll
Yeah.
categorize you in which one of those two races you want to run.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm just thinking, holy cow, they have no idea what they're fixing to get into.
Uh-huh.
So, so we start, and here they go, and they're running, just a little bit, and then they're walking, and usually Pam and I are always the last ones, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And but this time we wasn't the last ones; they were.
Mm-hmm.
And so we waited and waited and waited on them to get back. And of course, Laura and the snack wagon, she was there with us. And I just said, I just don't think that they knew what they were getting into. I just don't, because I don't believe they've never ever run any.
Uh-huh.
And so finally, when they got back, they were just about all dead. And they said,
Yeah.
"We didn't know that this was a half marathon. We thought it was a half marathon over 3 days."
Oh my gosh.
And so we got a big kick out of that. So, needless to
Oh
say,
wow.
of the three, two of them bailed the next 2 days. They were done. They
They
just
were like, no, no,
there's
we're
just
not
no
doing
way we
this.
can do it. But the third one, the
Uh-huh.
one whose friend, her husband called me,
Uh-huh.
she actually did the next 2 days. She did all 3 days.
Well, look at that.
And so I called her that Monday morning,
Uh-huh.
on up in the morning. I called her and I said, "Well, how are you?" I was just checking on you. How are you
Can you
feeling?
walk?
And she said, "I didn't think I was going to be able to get out of bed." She said, "I have never been so sore in my life." I said, "Well, there you are. But just think about it. You've done it."
Uh-huh.
And
True
so there you
statement.
go.
You didn't die.
Yeah, and you didn't die.
Look at that. You thought you were going to, but you didn't.
But
Oh,
but
Lord.
anyway, it's all the money goes to the Freedom Run charities.
Uh-huh.
And it's gonna, and again, the important thing is this run goes on regardless of the weather. So if it's pouring down rain, if it's snowing, if
Mm-hmm.
it's sleet, whatever it is, we run it. regardless.
Yeah, that's the part that yeah, you're right. It's got a very Barkley kind of feel to it. That's just not through Frozen Head State Park and not up Rat Jaw Mountain, you know. It's just on roads. It's kind of got a little Barkley aroma.
And Jeff Plain complains about the fact that we our wide shoulders that we've got over here in DeKalb County. About when you're running on the road, about
Uh-huh.
how much road pavement you got before you fall off in the ditch. I mean, Jeff worries about that kind of stuff all the time. I mean, I don't.
He does have a lot of road runners that really like in Huntsville, they get a little upset with us. The number of times, I'm not gonna lie, the number of times that folks have either almost hit me or kind of swerved and like acted like they were gonna hit me if I'm running on the roads, or honked and offered up not very nice gestures to me, because I'm running on the road and not on the
Right.
sidewalk where it hurts and where you trip and where the sidewalks aren't. And a lot of times we don't even have sidewalks in some roads. But yeah, yeah, the Jeff's pub run over here, and there's a lot of times we do have to run on the roads, and we get some pretty nasty stuff sometimes with folks not being really happy with us for being on the road.
Well, but here there's so many people running on the roads here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people
Fantastic.
they know it. I think
Yeah,
they know that they can be a runner on the road.
yeah.
So most
Great thing.
most people are observant
Mm-hmm.
and a watch.
That's good.
Um,
That's good.
but anyway, it's going to be fun.
Jerry, I think that anything you do, you organize. Not only is it going to be organized and have meaning to it and actually contribute to charities that need the help and are doing the work and doing all the good things that they need to be doing, right? It's going to be fun too.
Mm.
And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to trying to be a crazy
There you go.
this March.
I mean, just think, you're just months away from being a crazy.
I'm months away from
I
being
mean,
a crazy.
honestly. Well, let me think. If I'm not mistaken, I think I looked the other day because I've got a countdown, but I can't look now because I'll screw this thing up. I'm thinking we're like, let's see, I mean, like 60 days away or 68 days or whatever
Yeah,
it
I
is.
need to get my butt back out there.
I mean,
Yeah. And that, to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why the crazies were so attractive because usually we do the kind of fall slide after the marathon in the fall. We're like, oh, our training doesn't keep to the same level, right? And that is one of the things that I hope the crazies will help me not do because running buddy Michelle, we really need to stay out there during the winter months, during the cold months, during the dark months, especially. So, just for our mental health and things like that. And I think the crazies will help with a lot of that because you can't just show up untrained, right? You've got to,
yeah,
well, I guess there's some people that
yeah,
do.
yeah. There's three that did. I mean,
Yeah, there were three that did.
and this year we had a young lady. I will give her name. Her name is Jasmine,
Hmm.
and she actually had put up something on Facebook about that she was training for her first 10K.
Hmm.
And so I said, well, you should just go ahead and do the Crazies Trifecta. And she messaged me back and said, I actually plan on training to do that next year. And
Wow, good for her.
I said, hey, next year is now. Don't wait. You can
Right.
do it. I said, if you're training to do a 10K, you can do the Crazies Trifecta. Come on and do it. And
Come
so the
on.
next thing I know, she's registered for the Crazies Trifecta.
Well, daggone. I bet.
And so she did all three of the days, and
Uh-huh.
she had never run any more than 6 miles when she did it.
Hey, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, not having a cutoff and all that kind of stuff is really, it makes it accessible. And it's, I mean, it's going to be challenging. I know it's going to be challenging. And the weather element is unpredictable, and so you got to be willing to get out there and no matter what. And so there's a lot of unknowns, but there are some knowns in that the cutoff time is, you know, do it as you can do it.
Right.
And that's wonderful, and it makes it that makes it accessible, I think. So registration opens January 1st for the Crazies and for the Rainsville Freedom Run. If you
Correct.
register for the Crazies, you got to select either 5K or 10K, which one you want to do for the Freedom Run,
Yeah,
because
but now that you do that actually the morning of the first leg of the crazies. You won't do
oh,
that
okay,
online.
you don't do it beforehand.
Right.
Okay,
That's
all
right.
right,
Yeah.
good to know. All
You'll
right.
give that information to Pam when you're checking in on that first day of the Crazies Trifecta.
Okie dokie. All right, that's good to know. So we will put down and run sign up is your go-to place for the
Right.
Crazies Trifecta information, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Crazies Trifecta run sign up. That'll get you there.
that'll get you there. All right.
Hmm.
Well, before we head out and enjoy the rest of our Sunday afternoon, Jerry, do you have one piece of advice for Behind the Bib listeners out there? I know you've got to be chock full of it, but if they, yeah, they were to walk away with one little golden nugget of Jerry Clifton,
well,
what would that be?
well, I would just say, um, seize the day for what it is because you really don't ever know what
Mm-mm.
tomorrow may bring.
True statement, my friend.
And so make the most that you got out of each day.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have people um, ask me, they say, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do
Yep.
so much for this freedom run? Why do you do that?
Yeah.
And I tell them, well, you know, the reason I do is because, I remember when I was a child, I never had a Christmas morning that I didn't have a gift or gifts on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I had a mom and dad that never dealt with any type of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I never doubt when I brush my teeth or take a shower or anything that the water that I'm using is going to make me sick.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these are some of the reasons why the Freedom Run does what it does, because we want to help women and men who have addiction to
Mm-hmm.
be able to free themselves. We want to make sure that people in Uganda have fresh, clean water,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to make sure children have Christmas, and that's just some of the things that the reason why that we do what we do. And you know, talking about addiction, just one thing. There's a charity that we work with here called the Father's House,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically help women out of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 6 years that they have been in existence,
Mm-hmm.
they have an 85% success ratio of the women that go through the
Wow.
Father's House. They're clean and they stay clean.
Wow.
85% of them.
85%. That's
85%.
huge.
It
That's
is.
huge.
And in the 6 years they've been in existence,
Mm-hmm.
141 children have been returned to their mothers
Mm.
because of the fact of the Father's House and them being clean.
Wow.
So that's some of the reasons why that we do, what we do.
Yeah.
So
It's not just about the running with you.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
So
You do incredible work for the community. And you work, and this is what I tell everybody, you work all year long. And these crazies, it's like it's one more thing that goes to support that incredible work that the Rainsville Freedom Run does. You're
and
helping.
let me say this, Lisa. I mean, I
Thank you,
know
buddy.
I'm the face of it,
Yeah.
but I mean, you was here this year. You
Yeah.
saw the Freedom Run.
Yeah.
You saw all the money that we give away. You saw all the door
Yeah.
prizes we gave away and all that kind of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, between individuals and companies that help support us, you know, there's over 200 people that donate, you know, sponsorship money, door
Hmm.
prize money, and then
Hmm.
all the volunteers that we have that weekend helping. So I may be the face of it, but I mean, there is so many people here, you know, all over everywhere that help make the Rainsville Freedom Run and the Crazies Trifecta, you know, what it is.
Hmm.
It's not
That's
just
true.
me. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Well, Jerry, thank you so much for coming on to talk about the Crazies Trifecta, to talk about the Rainsville Freedom Run. And I will put the link to sign up. I know I've already had people, because we talk about it on socials, we talk about it on this podcast before today, several times, in fact. So I've already had folks telling me, I want to come do the crazies with you. I want to come do the crazies. And I'm like,
I'm telling you,
let's
if
do it.
you've got to do the Crazies Trifecta,
You got to do it.
you will love it, especially this year with not one twist, but two
But two,
twists. Oh
two.
my gosh. And to think we're just days away, and I'm not even sure what exactly all the twists are yet, other than the fact that we've got two twists.
That we're gonna do it. Jerry, it is always, always, always a delight to speak with you, a delight to talk with you. You are a true treasure, not just in the running community, but in the North Alabama community as a whole. Thank you for everything that you do, and especially thank you for coming on Behind the Bib this afternoon.
Well, it's great talking to you, and we'll see you, if not before, March 6th.
Yeah, we'll see you next time we're Behind the Bib.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. We'll
All
see
right.
you
Bye
next
bye.
time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.